He knows when I'm mad, upset, embarrassed, angry, all the things, I cry.
We want to head east.
What's the poo policy on the RV? Some people don't like what we're about to say. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Apparently you guys were super interested once you found out that my husband is also an ICU travel nurse, and so I decided to do a little Q&A on my Instagram. You guys have already asked the questions. I haven't looked at them yet, so I'm excited to answer them alongside my husband because how fun is that? Are you ready?
Oh yeah, let's do it.
Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's Jared. I've been a nurse for going on 5 years. Started travel nursing, just a few months before you. We moved out to California in March of 2020, right at the start of the pandemic. And that's it. That's me.
That's him. That's him in a nutshell. He's typically behind the scenes. He's not a in front of the camera guy, but he did agree to do this with me.
Yeah, my face is more for behind the camera.
No, it's not. Oh, why you say that? Okay. What's funny is the first question is, he doesn't look thrilled. I'm going to put the picture here so you guys can see, but apparently he didn't realize I was putting this on social media.
Half the time you take a picture of me, I don't know what's going on social media, so I need to...
That's true.
I need to fix my RBF. It's been
a thing you've had?
I've had it for my whole life. It's just how my face is.
Okay, let's go to the next one. Our friend Laura Mailer asked, when are you coming to Texas? And
anytime. I wouldn't mind Texas at all.
I wouldn't mind Texas either.
We're
from Oklahoma, so
yeah.
We are Texas's little sister. And we have a lot of friends that live in Texas, and she's in the best part of Texas, in my opinion, Austin. So I think that we will do a little wraparound to Texas, but do you want to tell them why?
Oh yeah, so for the last 3 years, we've lived in the RV, and I think Lindsay's probably mentioned this on her channel, but we've been paying people to move our RV from place to place. So we finally bought a truck, and we will be hauling ourselves around. So we are suddenly much more mobile. Here in the next couple of years, we're going to be doing a lot more than just California. We want to head east.
Yes, we're ready to see the United States, I feel like. So when we first started travel nursing, we definitely jumped over to California. I'd always wanted to see California, and we promised we'll be there 6 months, but it's been 3 years. So I don't think we grasped how big California is and just what all it has to offer. So I think at this point we know we love California, but we don't know much about anywhere else. So we're ready to kind of see what the United States has for us besides Oklahoma and California.
Yeah, because part of this whole plan was to see the U.S. and figure out where we maybe want to settle down whenever we're done with all this. So just seeing California doesn't give us a lot of things to compare to.
Right. So before we decide California for sure, we figured let's see the rest. What will you do after travel nursing? Loaded question.
After travel nursing, my plan has always been, when I was done travel nursing, I was done with nursing. I've always been kind of tinkered around in entrepreneurial stuff and online sales and marketing and things like that. So I've got a bunch of different lines that I've been working on, and I hope that one of those pans out to the point that I can leave bedside and ultimately do that.
Yeah, I started travel nursing strictly because of the flexibility of the job and the financial stability. So I think that it's always been my plan B. It's not like I don't love my job. I do. It's very fulfilling, but I've always wanted something in the entertainment space. Used to be modeling, maybe a little bit of modeling and acting, and now building a platform is kind of my favorite thing to do. So I definitely think we have learned not to put all our eggs in one basket, especially if we're wanting change in the future. So that's something we focused on a lot. So I don't really know, we don't have like an exact plan of what we'll do after travel nursing, but we are trying to pave that road. How did you guys meet? So the short answer, the easy answer is we met in college. But if you really know us, you know that I just got out of a long-term relationship that wasn't super healthy, and I was going back to school. I was supposed to move in with a couple of my best friends, and I couldn't afford the housing, and so we had to all split and find different accommodations. So like we normally do in this small town, I was in Stillwater, Oklahoma, going to OSU, and I went on Craigslist to look for some roommates. Again, I was leaving a toxic relationship, and I happened upon a house that had a couple guy roommates looking for a guy or a girl roommate, and I was like, light bulb, this might be my moment to get out of this relationship officially, because he probably wouldn't want to date me if I'm living with a couple guys. So long story short, I went and visited these houses. 2 out of 3 were all guy roommates, and one of them was, I met a guy named Logan, and went through the house and we kind of clicked instantly. I thought that he was really cool, and I was like, okay, I think that I would be fine in this house. It's just 1 semester. I'm gonna go ahead and move in. So I moved in, and the other roommate, this dude, was not home yet. He was on a missions trip. 2 weeks later, he came home, he walked through the door. I had already been there, and the moment he walked in the door, I texted my best friend, who I was supposed to be living with, and I was like, the other roommate's really cute. Really cute. And she was like, no, you cannot do that. You have to leave that behind. And I was like, fair enough. She's like, it's 1 semester. Don't ruin this. Fair enough.
It was messy for a little bit.
It was a little messy.
I think
because you felt the same.
Yeah, I think we both knew pretty early on, but it was the logistics were a bit awkward.
Right. Because I mean, we all made a pact. We're just roommates. We're just roommates. But me and him definitely had a connection like right away. And like a month into living there, things got messy. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I think
we started dating.
Our roommate was understandably upset at the time, but I mean, only time can tell. And here we are 9 years later.
10 years.
I'm sure he forgives us.
10 years later.
10 years.
So we started dating about a couple months after I moved in. I moved in July. We started dating in September. He proposed in January, and we got married that October, and it's been 9 years married this year, 10 years together.
Yeah.
So
I don't know what the rush was, but
I don't know either.
It's just what people did around there, I guess, is my best excuse.
Yeah, I mean, I think like we could have done it differently, but we didn't. And a lot of people get married super young where we're from, so it wasn't unheard of. But the fact of the matter is, we're still together through our growth period too, because like we were both super young when that happened. So
yeah, a lot of changes since then.
A lot of changes, but ultimately that's how we met. Short answer is college. Long answer is Craigslist.
Sounds awful.
Some friends used to say that he put out a man-seeking woman ad on Craigslist, and I responded, which that is not what happened, but it's quite a funny joke. Starting practicum in the ICU in 2 weeks, and I'm terrified. Do you have any tips?
Ask lots of questions. Your first week or 2, you're pretty much just going to be watching. Get used to, the little stuff that ends up taking a lot of time, like setting up a secondary and how to use the G-tube, and get very familiar with your ET tubes and basic vent settings. Make friends with your RT.
Yeah,
start getting to know all of the other staff and other disciplines that work in the ICU, because there's it's not like other units where you run the show, but there are lots of specialties and lots of disciplines that come in and do things with your patient as well, and you need to know them, and you need to know who to call if there's an emergency and what type of emergency it is. But at the beginning, just get a feel for all the equipment. That's going to be the biggest part. And then your pharmacology and different disease processes are going to come with time, but early on you just need to know your meds and how to use all the basic equipment.
Mm-hmm. I would say time management is going to be the first thing to learn, is time management and building a rapport with allied health, your physicians, your intensivists, your unit clerk, your nurse aides. Like, you should build good relationships with them, because your RTs and PTs and OTs, speech, they're all going to teach you things that like you didn't learn in nursing school, or maybe you briefly went over it. I always befriend my RTs because they know the vent like the back of their hand, and they teach me. Don't ever think you're above another specialty or another person you're working with, another coworker. You guys are a team, and if you treat it like a team, you're going to have a much better time than someone acting like they know it all. So I would say time management, work on your time management skills. They're going to be different no matter what unit you're in, and then build a really good rapport with your team.
Don't change the vent settings unless you know the RT and they said it's okay.
I wouldn't do that my first 2 years as a new grad. I wouldn't touch that vent.
Yeah, they'll chop your hands off.
They'll chop your hands off, as they should, because you might not understand the mechanisms behind what they're doing and why they're doing it. If a doctor wants to change it, let the doctor change it. You don't change it, and you always call RT when a change happens. Every time.
How did you guys start your side hustles? My first one started, God, back before nursing school. I think it was 2017 or 2018, just selling online, doing Amazon sales.
Wait, go before that. Boho and Co.
Oh, yeah.
That's how you learned.
Yeah. I mean, this was all like e-commerce sales. I had a company that sold like boho clothing. It was like during the Shopify craze. Not a lot came of it, but I learned a lot of digital marketing. I learned about selling online, and that went into another product that I sell on Amazon now, and it's been going for 5 years or so, and
It's been a huge blessing.
yeah, it has been. It's been a huge blessing, and it's been a lot more successful than I might have expected. And then we branched out, and now we have Scrubstr, our travel nurse review platform. So it's been kind of a evolution from some really simple concepts up to something a little bit more complex, and now we've built our own app and a blog, and
A network.
Yeah, it's getting to be a much bigger thing, and doing that along with travel nursing has been interesting.
Yeah, I would say I started an Etsy shop when I was in nursing school and sold a lot of dog related shirts and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But that also taught me kind of the same with him, like how to sell something. Why do I want to sell something? I'm trying to make a little bit of extra money. For me and him, our time is worth more than anything. And so picking up shifts was not something I wanted to do. I wanted to utilize my time and learn a new skill. And like for him, it's e-commerce and Amazon FBA. So learning things like that, it's not like we just knew them. You guys have to take risks. Gallon Guard, the product he sells on Amazon, we took out a $5,000 loan on a credit card when we did that. And I'm not saying to go do that, but we really, really wanted to try something different. And YouTube is going to be your best friend with things that you have absolutely no business knowing.
Yeah, I remember that was
scary.
Yeah, I was sick to my stomach, like running that order, not knowing if anybody wanted to buy it, or if and $5,000 might have well has been $100,000 at the time.
Yeah.
We were so poor, but just not knowing if it was gonna crash or if it was gonna do well, or if I just put our family in a $5,000 hole.
Yeah,
it was scary, but it all kind of panned out, and I think we've learned a lot along the way. And I still remember pressing 1,000 t-shirts with you.
Yeah.
And doing where you pick the stuff out.
Yeah.
God.
With the vinyl. I did vinyl, and I mean, we worked hard. We had times where, you sacrificed family time or friends, and trying to make ends meet is not always easy, but trying different things and learning something along the way. I don't want another Etsy shop in my future, but I did learn a lot of things, how to sell things and how to create out of nothing. And that's kind of what he did too. So, okay, next one, suggestions on shoes. My feet hurt. Everyone's going to be different with this. I don't use one brand of shoe for every shift. I have Hoka's, I have Nobles, I have Gales, I have Cloves, I have Ons. My favorites would have to be Hoka's and Ons. And Nobles. Nobles are not easy to clean, so if you're a germaphobe, I would say I wear the mesh ones. So I would not say they're super easy to clean, but I think my most comfortable shoes, it's because I'm not wearing one pair of shoe to work every single time. So I think owning a few, unfortunately, is the best for me. But I would say Hoka's, Ons, and Nobles have been my favorite. What about you? He's not picky. His feet don't hurt.
No, I'm not picky. I just wear like some Nikes or some Ons, I think is all
I used to wear
really
Adidas.
Worn. Yeah.
Really just whatever shoe I would work out in, I'll wear to work.
Cowboy boots with my scrubs.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. He won't. That's a no. It's a no for me. Dealing with toxicity at my job. Moving in 5 months, but absolutely dread going to work every time. Everyone is super toxic. I'm tired. Oh, trying to get me fired. So a lot of things are happening in this one, but overall toxicity at a job is not uncommon. I would say figuring out how to navigate that. First of all, everyone's different and everyone's mental health matters. So if it's so toxic, that's all you can think about. You're anxious going in, during, and after work. It's time to change something. If you are at a point where you can stand up for yourself and talk to this person, I think it's very necessary. I have had great success with pulling aside my own bullies and speaking to them like a human. There's a formula I like to use, and it's being professional with your bully. I go up to my bully and I say, hey, when you have a moment, do you think I could talk to you in private? I've never had one tell me no, so we'll go talk in private, and I'll just explain to them through tears. I cry. He knows when I'm mad, upset, embarrassed, angry, all the things, I cry. So when I pull my bully aside, I'm typically in tears because they're embarrassing me or they're hurting my feelings one way or another. And I will just explain to them, hey, I notice you treat me differently, or I notice you talk to me in this way. Whatever is going on, you tell them. I wanted to make sure I didn't do anything to personally offend you because I would like to work on that. But if not, I need to be able to mend this relationship, and I don't approve or appreciate of how you're talking to me. If this doesn't end here, I will take this up the chain of command. So I have done that 4 or 5 times, and it has worked every time. It won't always work. Sometimes, disclaimer, sometimes it can put a target on your back, but I think that this stuff needs to be done, and as adults, we should be able to talk to each other. I don't think you've ever had a case where you've had to do this.
I unfortunately, I think guys and girls kind of inhabit 2 different universes in medicine, which is unfortunate.
We'll work the same exact unit, but he doesn't get bullied, but I will get bullied, or I have been bullied.
Yeah, it's kind of
by the same person. They'll treat him totally different than how they treat me.
Yeah, there tends to be, specifically in medicine, this might be other places too, but there's like a weird halo effect where they automatically assign a certain amount of competence to men for
whatever
some reason. It's unfortunate. It's not okay, but it is something I've noticed at most hospitals we've been to.
And would you say you would talk to them first before going to your manager?
If somebody was
treating you poorly.
Yeah. Talk to them. Just talk to them directly. See if you can handle it. I mean, we're all adults. Even though we're at work and there's a chain of command, we're all adults. Go talk to the person, because a lot of times they don't think you're ever gonna confront them.
Up, yeah.
And like with Lindsay, anytime she's ever confronted somebody, they just shrivel immediately. Oh, I never meant to do that. I never thought I was treating you poorly, even though they know
know
exactly
what they're doing.
But they thought that
they could get away with it.
Yeah, you were just going to shrink away and let it happen. And as soon as you stand up, they end up crumbling.
They either crumble, they never look my way again, or they try to become my best friend. That one's strange, but it does happen. It's unfortunate that it happens. One other thing you can do after you do this, I learned this kind of the hard way of not doing this myself, is after you speak to someone, whether it be a coworker, a manager, whoever you're complaining to about what's going on, you could write an email. Make sure you CC HR, management, the person you're talking to, and your personal email. That's the most important thing, so that you have record that you have tried to squash this issue yourself. If anything ever happens in the future with retaliation, then you have proof. I tried my hardest to end this professionally, and you have proof because you sent it to your personal email, and they can't erase that from your personal email. So I would say stand up for yourself, but there's always more things that are involved with something as delicate as a toxic workplace. Next question. Would you consider NP school? Why or why not?
Not for me personally. Even going into nursing, I knew that travel nursing was my end game. So we're here, we're doing it. I don't have any desire to spend that much more time in medicine and that much more time in the hospital. I love healthcare. I love the hospital setting. I love working in medicine. I love being in the ICU. But I'm happy with just being a nurse and working 3 days a week and then pursuing all the things that I want for the other 4 days of the week.
I'm the exact same way. I think when we were first in nursing school, we both had this, maybe we should go to NP school or CRNA or do something extra, do something more. And we both have our associate's degree in nursing, and we're both very happy and content with being bedside nurses in the ICU. As a travel nurse, I think that that's what set it apart for me, is that travel nursing gives me a little more freedom and I'm able to be fulfilled in that manner. But yeah, working more than 36 hours a week in the hospital isn't it for me. I'm definitely happy. And I love my job in the ICU, but any more than 36 hours, it becomes a chore for me.
And it's tough. I mean, the NP school ended up getting a little flooded in the last few years. So unless you just really are craving the autonomy and the higher level of care that NP offers, you know, you can make similar money as a travel nurse. A lot of times you can make more money as a travel nurse. That's not across the board. There are NPs that make great money, but I would say if you're going into it, go into it because you want to practice at a higher level.
Yeah, don't do it because someone else told you you have to do it. Sorry, I laughed earlier, but I just glanced down at two of these. Motorcycle or car when it comes to Mario Kart? Motorcycle. Every time. You're way faster on a motorcycle.
Yeah, motorcycle.
Rose Gold Peach, she's the best.
I go Dry Bones. I like Dry Bones. He's
I don't know.
Shy Guy. I can get down with some Shy Guy.
Yeah, we have a little theme song, but we won't sing it for you.
No, that's... we want people to watch this channel.
Anyway, what's the poo policy on the RV? That one also made me laugh.
We're both human. You let it rip.
Okay, but I will say something we do differently that some people don't do, and yes, this is a little gross.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell him.
So and I don't think we're the only ones. I think there's a fair amount because in an RV, all of your sewage goes into a tank, and then that tank gets dumped into your RV park's septic system. And so you can either use this super thin, like fall apart RV
Tissue
toilet paper.
It's tissue paper for your ass.
Or you just, and this can be it takes a little bit more, there's a little more logistics to it, but use whatever toilet paper you want, and it just doesn't go in the toilet. So it has to go in a trash can. You can use like an odor-free liner. And
that's what we do.
Yeah, we haven't run into any issues with it. It hasn't
Just
been.
empty the trash when you have guests.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay, there's gonna be poo-poo in your trash can, but that's how we do it. I'm not using tissue paper to wipe my ass. I want some Charmin up there, and maybe like a little wipe, you know, a little adult baby wipe.
I can get down with a wet wipe.
Wet wipes for your ass, but you can't put those down. You will regret it if you flush your toilet paper. That's normal toilet paper. So that's how we handle it. But every 2 weeks we dump. I think maybe they're asking that too.
Yeah, roughly every 2 weeks. I mean, it's getting more into like RV life, but yeah, every 2 to 3 weeks you dump your black tanks. We don't boondock at all, so our gray tanks stay open almost all the time.
Okay, we got a couple more questions, and then we'll have to do a part 2 because I did not realize how many questions are on here. Your guys' favorite restaurant in San Diego? I've got 2. One that is in San Diego over by Little Italy is
Crack Shack.
Crackheads.
No, that's in Carlsbad.
Oh, Crack Shack.
Yeah.
It's a fried chicken place. It is absolutely amazing. We have taken multiple people there, and they also agree with us. Their fries are delicious. Their sauces are delicious. It's like chicken sandwiches, chicken bowls. Oh my God. It's so, like I'm drooling a little bit. It's really good.
And we don't, I'm sure there's like better
we don't
places
like
in San
dine
Diego,
out a
but
lot.
we neither one of us care for fine dining at all. We would rather, you know, have something like fast casual, like tap room type places.
Yeah.
That's where we mostly frequent. So Crack Shack is very good.
But my all-time favorite place, and we go there way too often, I would even say we might be regulars at this point, is LTH in Oceanside. Stands for
Local Tap House.
Local Tap House. Yeah. Their food is amazing. If you like seafood, their seafood stew is the best seafood stew I've ever had. Their drinks are on point. They're my favorite place ever, and they're in Oceanside. Let's do one more.
How are travel rates currently? Not pretty.
They're not the best. Some people don't like what we're about to say.
It's not, you know, the world is coming down from COVID, and travel nurses are struggling coming off the high of all the crazy rates that were out there. So you see a lot of people getting very cranky, but it had to end at some time. And saying that, you also have to keep in mind that we're not in a pre-COVID world anymore. Yeah. We've had rent is up 30%, groceries are up 12%. I mean, life is just more expensive. Hyperinflation through COVID. Yep. So going back to the old rates, pre-COVID rates, that just doesn't work any longer. So the market is fluctuating pretty wildly right now. It's trying to find like a new normal. So I think it's going to continue to kind of go up and down until they can balance pay with supply and demand of travel nurses.
Yep. One thing I want to add to that is that we're not blind to the fact that we're not supposed to be getting, I think a lot of people think like we're upset we're not getting COVID rates, and that's not it at all. I'm not blind to the fact that that can't be sustainable for a hospital, but we're still not paying staff adequately, period, especially for most hospitals not having ratios. We don't have enough nurses working to not pay travel nurses more. We're leaving behind all kinds of things. We're sacrificing, we're duplicating our expenses. We have to do a lot of things to become a travel nurse, and pre-COVID rates and post-COVID times just like they don't make sense. So right now we're taking a break until those rates level out a little bit. And that's also why we decided to speak about our side hustles, because again, I don't think you should put all your eggs in one basket if nursing is not your end all be all, and for us it's not. So for us, nursing is definitely our plan B, and putting all your eggs in one basket is not the best option. So we're able to take time off because we didn't do that.
Yeah, and I think there's a chance that I think some fiscal calendars reset April 1st, so
Yep.
we might see a little pop in rates, but generally the summers are the low times, and then things pick up in the winter. There tends to be more hospitalizations along with flu season, things like that. So you'll see some higher rates in the wintertime, but right now we're going into what is generally the lowest part of the year.
Yep. Okay, well, I'm going to stop it there. We have a lot more questions, so we'll definitely be doing a part 2, maybe a part 3 on this, but I really enjoyed this. This is the first time getting him in front of this platform, so I'm really excited. If you guys liked this, if you guys have more questions, leave them in the comment, give me a like, subscribe, and I hope to see you next time.